So first we are going to see what is the relation between the verse 2 and the verse 3, because as an author, Srila Rupa Goswami has only written 11 verses in this book. So there is a flow of thought. So we will explore the flow of thought. Last week also we explored what is the relation between verse 1 and verse 2. Verse 1 actually gave the urges which sometimes come up, but verse 2 is the lifestyle by following which we will have the ability to actually control those urges when they actually show up once in a while. So here, the verse 3 is an extension of the same flow of thought. So if you see here in the screen, it's the on the towards my left, it's the six faults to be given up, which is Atyahar, Prayasa, Prajalpa, Niyamagraha, Janasanga, and Laulyam. So these three things, six things needs to be given up. So as an author, he first states the problem, the six things to be given up. But in Krishna consciousness, most of the times, how do we give up things? What is the attitude of a devotee that we saw in the preface? What is the kind of how do we give up bad things in Krishna consciousness is by replacing it with positive habits. So, in line with that particular principle of giving positive alternatives for the practice of Krishna consciousness, Srila Rupa Goswami gives the six favorable items by following which naturally we will give up the six faults that he states in the verse 2. As Srila Prabhupada, like being very compassionate, he always writes the solutions right in the place where the problems are given, because he's not sure who's going to open the book and read. So he makes sure under the text 2 also, he gives the solutions for those faults, which the author is giving in the next verse in an indirect way, in a direct way. So Srila Prabhupada has already given certain solutions for each of those problems like Atyahar, Prayas. So now we will see how those things can be addressed in a direct way. And these six things are here: Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya, Tatat Karma Pravartana, Sanga Tyaga, and Satovrite. If you see Atyahar, as we saw, it is either overeating or over accumulation. That means there is, as we say, if you use the word greed in this context, like wanting to amass a lot, that means there is so much wanting more. That is, if it is actually reflected in the proper way in devotion service, that will be utsaha, enthusiasm for doing more bhakti, more chanting or more hearing or more service, wanting to be more with Krishna. So wanting to do something more for Krishna, connecting to Krishna. So that same feeling of atya, which causes atyahar, can be dovetailed in devotional service. And when it is dovetailed, it actually is called as enthusiasm. So you see, when devotees are new, sometimes you can clearly see they want to read a lot, they want to know a lot, they want to do a lot in relation to bhakti, because that is actually enthusiasm. So the same feeling where in material life, when applied to material things, that becomes atyahar. When it is applied in spiritual life, is called as enthusiasm. So if we feel not so interested in spiritual life, that means we are lacking that enthusiasm. And the next, the prayas, which is when directed towards material things, is called as over endeavor, because there is no confidence that I'll have enough in the future. I need to have more just to feel secure. But rather, as a devotee, I earn and do as much as necessary to maintain my life, and some savings for emergency for the future. But at one point, if it is actually encroaching my ability to practice Krishna consciousness, then I actually give priority also to spiritual life, having the confidence that Krishna will take care of me. So that is nishchaya, that I do everything necessary for my life, how to conduct my regular life. Still, I have the confidence that by giving enough time for spiritual life and balancing both material and spiritual duties, Krishna will protect me. So this confidence that Krishna will protect me is called as nishchaya. And prajalpa is useless speech, croaking of the frogs Prabhupada is giving. So if you just imagine as a person just loosely keeps talking, looks at anything and then makes a comment, it's actually restlessness also. That internal restlessness comes out as a constant chatter, like it's just like being restless. On the other hand, the opposite quality is dhairya, is patience also. You can also call it gravity. Dhairya is like having certain gravity. So when you have gravity, you're not just loose in your speech. you speak what is necessary, and you hold a certain amount of gravity as a devotee. So that gravity is because there is patience. There is like, okay, you think twice before saying something or doing something, in a way, in general. So a devotee is actually grave and patient because he's not just restless. He has a cool head to analyze things before doing. That's patience. And niyamagraha is either accepting for the sake of material advancement or rejecting, being lazy about spiritual advancement. But the opposite is doing what is the right thing, how it is prescribed. It's just the opposite of it. Instead of neglecting or accepting for whimsically, we do whatever is prescribed in the way it is prescribed. So that is tat tat karma pravartana, doing the activities prescribed for devotional service in the manner it is prescribed. And janasanga is associating with unfavorable people, and sangatyaga is giving up that. It's just an exact reflection of that, the opposite. uh, can I just finish the last quality and take your question, Agape? Yeah. Laulyam, as I said, it could be translated as greed, ardent longing, or fickle mindedness. And if we take the aspect of fickle mindedness, not being fixed in devotional service, going sometimes to this Baba and going to this, sometimes to that Guru, or checking out this Tantra or this mantra, all these things, another constant changing, not having a goal, is Satovrite, following in the footsteps of the previous Acharyas. Choose your Mahajan and stick to them. Invest some confidence, and once you choose a guru and a line and a disciplic succession, you stick to them. You can check out before you actually finalize, but once you take up a certain path of like devotional service, okay, I'm going to be a devotee and being a this is my goal, Krishna Prem is my goal. If you just fix, I'm going to practice this, so then don't have that fickle mindedness of going here there, like being not so steady. So that is why following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas is an antidote to laulyam. Okay, these are my mahajans, these are my actually ideals that I'm going to follow, so these are the people I'm going to follow. We become fixed in it. So that's called as satovritti. So in this way, these six faults can be overcome by following these six prescribed things to practice in devotional service. So this is the way the flow of the book goes.